Greetings to you, dear ones and lovers of the world of stories and the mysterious and untold tales of ancient legends and history. Welcome to a different world of untold ancient Greek mythology. We have a beautiful and legendary story, untold, of a powerful and mighty warrior, a mythical warrior who became an unparalleled legend. Here we will discover the complete story of his life and his battles until he became the greatest mythical warrior of Sparta. Once upon a time, in the realm of ancient Greek mythology, there existed a mighty and renowned city known as Sparta. Sparta was a powerful and grand city located in Greece. This city symbolized the strength and the authority of Greece. Sparta was always revered as a great city and held in high esteem by the gods of ancient Greece. It was the birthplace of the most powerful and formidable commanders and soldiers who achieved consecutive victories in numerous battles for Greece. Sparta was a city proud of its warrior, culture, and military training. In this city, men were required to join the army from a very young age and receive military training to be able to participate in the wars of Sparta. The warriors endured rigorous and intense training, pushing themselves to their limits. They underwent extremely difficult drills and were trained in the harshest and most challenging conditions imaginable to become Spartan warriors. In reality, they were called Spartans. These training exercises were so grueling and demanding that many men and young boys lost their lives during the training, sacrificing themselves in the process. These training exercises included climbing up and down large mountains for a month, running long distances of 50 kilometers from one city to another, enduring long periods of sitting in the hottest parts of the city, swimming in the sea for several weeks, and engaging in battles against giants, demons of the dark world, and many other deadly and exhausting challenges. These grueling and endurance training exercises transformed these warriors into the strongest and bravest soldiers in the world. The Spartans believed that if they were killed in the battle and achieved great victory and honor, their spirits would ascend to Mount Olympus and remain immortal for eternity. Indeed, during that time, the gods of Mount Olympus ruled. Among these gods were Zeus, the king of the gods, Poseidon, the god of the seas and oceans, Hades, the god of the underworld and the realm of the dead, Ares, the god of war, and Athena, the goddess of battle and craftsmanship. These were the prominent gods who held the highest positions. However, there were also other gods who resided in Olympus and had familial relationships with each other, such as being spouses, siblings, parents, or children. Mount Olympus was located at the highest point in the world, specifically on Mount Olympus. There existed a magnificent palace made of gold in the heavens, unseen by mortal eyes. Within its walls resided all the beauty and wonders of the world, the very best from every corner of the earth and beyond gathered there. However, this focus on their own power and comfort led the Olympian gods to neglect the plight of mortal beings, who often suffered in unfavorable conditions. Nevertheless, statues of these gods were scattered throughout Greece and worshipped by the people. Now, let us return to the main story and delve into the mythical tale that arises only once every few centuries. In the legendary city of Sparta, there lived a formidable warrior named Nicholas. He was a powerful fighter who cherished his family deeply. His family, consisting of his father, mother, and siblings, had been killed in the wars that came upon Sparta. From a young age, Nicholas had been engaged in combat and training, serving in the Spartan army. At the age of 22, Nicholas married a woman named Calliope. However, his wife, Calliope, suffered a severe injury in one of the great wars waged by the Athenian army against Sparta. She lost their unborn child and was unable to have children afterwards, causing immense grief for Nicholas. This tragedy turned him into a heartless and ruthless individual, leading him to kill innocent women and children in all of his battles. He carried out these acts as a means of seeking revenge for the loss of his unborn child. In one of the major battles near Suffolk, Nicholas discovered an abandoned newborn baby. Initially, he intended to kill the baby, but as he raised his sword to strike, the infant laughed at Nicholas. In that moment, Nicholas saw a spark in the baby's eyes and felt remorse. The day after the battle, Nicholas brought the baby to his home in Sparta and gave the child to his beautiful wife Calliope. He said that the gods had shown them great mercy and gifted them with a son. From that day forward, this baby would be their child. Calliope's eyes welled up with tears of joy as she looked at the baby. She held in her arms and felt immense happiness. From that day forward, Nicholas underwent a transformation and reigned his human nature. The man known as the cruelest and most heartless commander in Sparta became calm. They accepted the baby as their own child, naming him Cyril, meaning Lord or Great. They raised Cyril with great care and showered him with a bonded love. Cyril thrived under their nurturing and developed a strong passion for combat and warfare at the age of 3. This prompted Nicholas to train him in the ways of battle. Nicholas was Cyril's father now, but he showed no mercy in his training. He gave Cyril the toughest and most grueling training from a very young age. Cyril received training and participated in the most demanding military examinations. He excelled in all of these trainings and examinations, setting records. The people of Sparta regarded him as an eternal legend because of his incredible strength and power. He had the ability to fight against hundreds of Spartan warriors and commanded respect from emperors and commanders. Cyril became a powerful symbol for all the Spartans. He engaged in numerous battles too. One of the epic battles unfolded as the demonic dragons clashed in a fierce and monumental fight against the Hydra, the multi-headed serpent. They confronted the demonic titan named Typhon, who posed a formidable challenge. Cyril had no fear and was unafraid of anyone. He had now become a symbol and most powerful warrior of Sparta, to the point that his name had reached even the summit of Mount Olympus, and the gods of Olympus were afraid. Since the day Cyril set out to fight and destroy them, he had become so powerful and renowned. However, among the gods, the god of war, Ares, was greatly shocked to learn that such a mighty mortal existed in the world and was destined to be immortal. He admired the mighty mortal warrior, who was fierce and ruthless and had no mercy. This admiration led the god of war Ares to be pleased with a powerful mortal fighter, prompting him to descend to earth in human form and invite Cyril to make a blood pact with Ares, the god of war himself. Ares had always desired to take his father's place, Zeus, and rule over Olympus. To achieve this, he needed to have a powerful offspring. However, all the children he had with mortal women were either flawed or perished in some way, lacking sufficient power. Additionally, Ares had an affair with one of the furious, Alecto, in the hope of bringing forth a mighty child through dark magic. The result was a son named Orcus, who, contrary to the power of his parents, turned out to be a weak and powerless being. Ares was always in search of a powerful warrior who could secure his legacy and allow him to seize control over Olympus. That's why, when he saw Cyril, he was undoubtedly drawn to him. However, in their initial encounter, Cyril expressed his admiration for the god of war, Ares, but made it clear that he had no desire to become a god himself. He wanted to serve his city and his family as a human being. Ares, angered by Cyril's words, plotted and disguised himself as Zeus, the king of the gods, and attacked Sparta. He destroyed half of Sparta, and in this attack, Cyril's parents, Nicholas and Calliope, were killed. Cyril, returning from battle, was confronted with the great tragedy that had befallen Sparta. Shocked, he quickly made his way to his family's home and came face to face with the bodies of his parents. Cyril, seeing his father Nicholas leaning against a stone and holding the body of his wife Calliope, was in tears. He ran towards them and sat beside them. Nicholas said to Cyril, "My son, this was our fate, to depart from this world in such a way. I never wanted to teach you anger. I want you to diminish your anger. Serve Sparta, get married and start a family. Never seek revenge and forget about this." Cyril, overwhelmed with anger, grief and sorrow, didn't know what to do. He cried out and said, "Zeus, O God of gods, why have you done this to your people? Why have you done this to Sparta? This city always fought for you and served you. I always believed in you, and you have shattered my faith. Know this, without a doubt, one day I will come to Olympus, and I will exact retribution from you. I will destroy Olympus and all its gods to dust. Be certain of it." From that day onwards, Cyril's fire of anger grew immensely. He was constantly engaged in battles and conflicts, gathering a large number of soldiers by his side, until the day he planned to attack Olympus. He needed to acquire sufficient power. However, no matter how much he fought, it was never enough. He harbored an overwhelming rage and had turned into a soulless and merciless human being, driven solely by vengeance. Cyril spilled copious amounts of blood and killed numerous demigods, including Hercules, the son of Zeus, who was revered as a symbol of world power. In a breathtaking battle, Hercules fell at the hands of Cyril. Cyril transformed into a slayer of gods, becoming the first mortal to stand against the deities. Additionally, Cyril launched an attack on the city of Athens and reduced it to ashes. Athena, the goddess of warfare and craftsmanship, who was infuriated by Cyril's actions, could no longer tolerate it and retaliated against him. In the battle between Athena and Cyril, Cyril suffered severe injuries. However, his blazing fire of vengeance was so overwhelming that nothing could stop him. And as a result, Athena, one of the great gods of Mount Olympus, fell victim to his wrath. Cyril's actions only fueled Zeus's immense anger, and Zeus prepared himself for the final battle against Cyril. Throughout the years, Cyril had gathered a vast army of soldiers from all corners of the world, amassing the greatest military force in the world. He had assembled 3 million soldiers and launched an attack on Olympus with this enormous army. Cyril inflicted significant damage upon Olympus, engaging in a fierce battle with Zeus himself in the end. This battle was a monumental clash between a mortal human and a god, It was an intense and grand battle, shaking the very earth. Cyril suffered significant injuries in this battle because despite his immense power, he was pitted against Zeus, the god of gods. However, his blazing fire of vengeance was so overwhelming that he managed to bring Zeus to his knees and inflict harm upon him. This feat was truly remarkable, and Cyril became the first mortal to defeat Zeus. But Zeus was not a god who would easily surrender, and he attacked Cyril with all his might. In the end, due to his human nature, Cyril could no longer confront Zeus. Eventually, Cyril sat on the ground, exhausted, and said to Zeus, "You have reduced my life to dust. You killed my parents and showed no mercy to my people. Do you think that no one, even a god, could stand against you? Take a look at your precious Olympus and admire the beauty that remains. I have destroyed Zeus's palace. I have defeated him and brought him to his knees. I have nothing left to accomplish in this world." And in that moment, Zeus, while acknowledging the truth, felt a great sense of pride. He said, "My child, you are a powerful, mighty, and courageous warrior. You are the only human who has been able to harm me, and I commend you for that. But know this, I have never attacked Sparta. It was Ares, my son, the god of war, who took on my form and attacked Sparta in order to turn you against me. Although he made significant progress, he ultimately failed." Cyril, upon hearing Zeus's words, became confused once again, but it was of no use. His life had come to an end, and he no longer had any time for further warfare or revenge. And finally, he said, "You gods are lawless and weak, and you must be destroyed." Then he lost his life and fell to the ground. On that day, a momentous event occurred as a mortal human killed half of the gods and brought Olympus to the brink of destruction. Furthermore, Cyril defeated Zeus, the god of gods, but his human nature did not spare him. In the greatest battle of his life against the god of gods, Zeus, he lost his own life. This battle and a struggle turned into the greatest battle and war in the history of the gods and Greece. A mortal human became the greatest warrior of Sparta and the slayer of the gods. Thank you to all of you, dear ones and viewers of the tales and mysterious who have accompanied us thus far. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and definitely share this mythical story with your friends so that they can become acquainted with our untold legends and another divine saga. Farewell, and may the gods watch over you.